I have ADHD, full transparency. I can't remember anything. It's hard enough for me to remember the things that like I committed that I'll do. I feel like I've solved that. But when other people make commitments, ooh, I need something better that works. So I built it. Human in the loop starts now. Gosh, we're
What's
back.
up, brother?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. I know we had talked about kind of having a guest speaker on today
Yeah.
for our to close out our enterprise for AI. We're going to hold on that for a couple of weeks. So
All
we're
right.
ending that series for now. We've got someone to come in a few weeks, and but there's other fun stuff to talk about, right?
There's a lot, man. Look at what's been happening. It's like motto after motto, new harnesses, all kinds of stuff happening. We'll never run out of things to talk about.
Never. Opus 5 came out today, man. That was
Opus 5.
launched. I was uh
Opus 5.
I was
Yeah.
having a snack 30 minutes before we hopped on and I saw that announcement and I was like, is it too late to pivot? Probably too late to pivot. I don't even know anything about
Well,
Opus 5, but that'll be
well,
a post show. Leave it to the reader
well.
activity.
We'll put it through the ringer. The other thing I was thinking about, we've been talking about AI in the enterprise, and if you noticed in the past few weeks, OpenAI, Microsoft, Amazon, Anthropic, four companies invested $9 billion into consulting companies. They either acquired consulting companies or built them themselves, and they're hiring a fleet of forward deployed engineers to go help
That's the new
people.
buzzword, right?
That's the new buzzword.
We thought
Forward
we thought
deployed
we thought
engineers.
prompt engineers was going to take over in
Yeah,
2023.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
You
Microsoft just
know,
almost, I think with their new fiscal year, they announced almost like, I think they're branding as like a company
yeah.
for exactly that. But it's been so interesting, right? We're investing in our customers. We're investing in like selling to our customers.
Yeah.
We've always had implementation paths, but now we're not only going to do that, we're going to have employees like be sitting to drive that success. It's been an interesting shift.
It is. And we've seen this also before. I keep going back to the cloud. When I was a field engineer for
I was just
Microsoft,
going to
this
say, if
was,
this reminds you of when
yeah,
you were a field engineer, man.
yeah, man. I mean, we used to do the same thing with data centers, and we did it with cloud, and then it was cloud
Right.
migration, cloud adoption. Then the customer success unit in Microsoft came about.
Correct.
The whole thing was set up to help people adopt cloud. I think it's the same version of that now, and it's basically really smart technical resources helping customers manage technological change. Like that's at the center of it. But we have more fun things to talk about today. Tell us, man. Tell us what you're going to show us.
Yeah. So, like I said in the opener, right? Like, gosh, if my mind isn't in a million places all at once, like everyone else, right? So part of that for me was you and I talk about this, like, I feel that like AI was built for people like me. And once I started unpacking that, I was like, man, my ADHD mind, this is perfect, right? And so I think a lot of things, what's happening, it's, well, if I need something to do something, if I need a tool to help me, and the ones I have aren't a perfect fit, well, I'll just go build my own, right? So that's how like the Grove, you've heard me talk about my whole system came to be. And then I built all these things in there, right? I built
Yeah.
a tool to track my contacts, my own CRM, my accounts. I've got my money in there. I've got like my parenting plan with my ex-wife. I have my own note system. I wanted to be able to generate summaries, and then with that, created tasks, commitments, deals, etc. So before before I got some of the tools in house, right? Before like there was a while where I didn't have my own Copilot subscription, so my company gave me API, my graph permissions against my data. So I started to build something to help me track my follow ups, but more importantly, like my commitments to other people. And I just define a commitment as a task where someone else is on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Commitments to other people as well as commitments that others make to me. And so I built a system. It's pretty successful. Um, so I thought, hey, let's show it.
Yeah, man. Let's
That's what
see
we're
it.
gonna talk about today.
I think I've got the same kind of sort of mindset like you, right? There's so much going on, so many things to manage, lots of
Right.
commitments. And so I'm curious to see how you do that and how you do it in a trustworthy way.
Yeah. So, like, a couple things. One, right, kind of what I just said. How do I track follow-ups for this?
Mhm,
And that for me starts with like a transcript. So,
mhm.
as anyone in the AI world these days, right? Like, I want to record everything I do. I want to record every call that
Yeah.
I have. Like, as always, it's convenience or privacy. And well, I'm not going to say out loud which direction I strongly prefer, right? For my own personal life. But I
Yeah.
want to be able to track, record transcripts, right? I want to be able to record personal calls. That's why I have like a Plod device that I take with me to conferences. So I'm just going to kind of walk through how I'll use this. I'm going to kind of go back and forth. So, like, this is the Grove. This is my system here, right? I have contacts, and I could go into this in depth, right? Like, who have I not talked to recently? What tasks, commitments I have. I'll come back to that. But for me, this starts with notes. So let's say that I had a conversation with someone and I got a
Mhm,
transcript, right?
mhm.
In theory, I'd be able to plug this in, automated into Teams or whatnot, scrape that. But for now, we're going to introduce a manual, at least for this. So I just have a demo um, transcript that I have
Mhm,
with a made up company called Harborline Financial, where we talked Microsoft
mhm,
Fabric. So where
mhm.
this would start is I would bring the transcript into here, and then I'm going to hit summarize. And this is my own summary, right? So Copilot has their own, but this is the one that I wanted, right? Who the attendees, scrape through it, try to identify the attendees, try to identify the customer itself, and then what are the top 3 to 5 commitments? Number one, pulled out. Then
Right,
give me a summary. What were some questions that weren't answered? And then what are remaining items? So what's nice in
right,
here too is like I can detect the people in the account. It'll detect this. I can add Dana even though she's made up. I can link it to a calendar event, so it'll pull my calendar so I can attach that accordingly. I can attach it to an account if I have it, so all of that gets tracked. And then at the bottom, I've got my tasks, but then I have my commitments. So
mhm,
one from here in the line, it says, hey, where does Harborline stand on Power BI Premium today? And so Dana's
right,
like, let me confirm that. I'll get back to you. But in here, the Grove kind of said that, hey, this is not something, whoops, this is not something that I own. It miscategorized this. So I can just come in
mhm.
here, I can switch it to Dana, I can move it ahead, and then I can track those. And so when I go and get started on my dashboard every day, or I go to contacts, one, it'll show me all of my commitments here. So which ones are
Right,
active, which ones are overdue. This gets stale. Yeah. And so I can come down here and find which ones I have, which days, etc. And then I can close them out. But what I can also
right.
do is I can go back into that note and I can say, hey, let me go down to here. Let me follow up with that person.
Okay.
Obviously, this is a manual. Let me kind of keep telling this. So just a follow up in here that I can kind of go at any point and see which ones follow up. And this is going to write an email, and it's based
Mhm.
on I have an agent that's in my Claude environment that, like you, is trained on my voice. I've given it
Right.
hundreds of emails, hundreds of Teams messages, given it like a default list of like how to not sound AI, but also sound like me.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
going to look for tone. It's going to look for formats. I like to use, I always like to start things with hi, little things like that. It notices like
Yeah,
how I like to use short sentences, etc.
yeah.
So just generates a thing, right? And then I can enter in any email that I want, and it will send this out. It'll send it out from my work email. If I don't like it, I can redraft it. But I can also just come in here and edit it myself. One thing, so I can send it over, um, add on accordingly. I know that I have the ability because I do this with like summaries to send out as responses to like a calendar invite. So at some point,
Mhm.
it might make sense to have these be replies to something, right, as opposed to just raw emails. But what's good
Right.
about this for me is a couple things. One, I'm just going to put a dummy email in here. This will get sent out. What my system is tracking is one, what was the email that my agent generated for me, what you just saw.
Mhm.
And then it also stores what are the emails that I actually send out. And so then it's
Right.
going to compare the two of those. It's going to look for things like what percentage of it is different?
Mhm.
Did you change words? And then how is it different? Did you change tone? Did you change formatting? Did you change diction? Did you change punctuation? Um, whatever. And it's going to start tracking that over time, because my goal is I don't want to do this.
You're
I
right.
don't want to do any of this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this right here is just one more thing I have to remember to do. Right now, I don't have to remember to follow up, but I have to remember to click on the button that says follow up. So I want to
Okay.
eventually get to where like it'll do all of this for me. So
Right.
the way I do that today is every Friday I get an email, right, or a
Right.
message on Telegram. Called it Follow Up Friday. That just says, hey, since we've been tracking this, how many emails did you send? What's the average edit rate? How many emails did you send out verbatim? How many ones did you come up there and not actually follow up on? And then where are some
Yeah.
specific areas that you updated, busiest contacts, etc. So it's just
Okay.
a way for me to continue to like evaluate, right? Like we call this human in the loop, but like let's get real. I want to use AI so I can be human out of the loop.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole point of this, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then this is probably of my grove. This is what I use the most, because this will let me send this summary, which I call an action debrief. I can one click send it out. I have a safety mode toggle in there, so I don't accidentally send it out to customers or whatnot. I can send it to myself. I can disable safety mode, send it to internal only, internal plus Microsoft, everyone on the email chain. Quick way to get that out. Same thing with the follow-ups. And yeah,
Right.
it's kind of just a way that, you know, I use to that
It's
has been effective for me.
it's fascinating. A couple of questions. So just to kind of break it down for the audience. This is where you start your day. You start your day on the Grove dashboard. It's
Yep.
sort of connected to the systems where your data lives. And
Correct.
you've got an always on agent in the background that's managing all of that, bringing it in, and then taking actions when you start sort of going through your commitments, setting up emails. And the beauty of using an always on agent is it wakes up at a certain period of time that you set up, looks at the task list, works through it, and it has instructions on how to execute it. That's how you get, and over time it's learning, right? It's learning from how your emails are being sent, what's not being sent, and then it sends you kind of a digest of what the changes were. That's
Yeah. And
fascinating.
I think one thing I didn't
Yeah.
show on there too is every morning I also get a Telegram message. That's just my morning digest that
Yeah.
talks about like
Yeah.
what are things that I need to care about, what's on my
Yeah.
calendar, right? What, and then also like what's on my personal calendar but isn't on my work calendar. I call that a blind spot. Like, have I scheduled a
Yeah.
haircut that I forgot to put on my
Yeah.
work calendar, right? And now I'm double
Yeah.
booked. But also
Yeah.
it tracks follow-ups, right? Like tasks, follow-ups, commitments. Where am I overdue? Where is someone else overdue? And so again,
Yeah.
trying to get to that like form of like elevated trust, where
Yeah.
instead of telling me about the follow-ups, how
Yeah.
can you just do those follow-ups for me? And so
Yeah.
that's the path, right?
I think that's sort of where we want to get to. We were human in the loop, but if you want to get to a point where you're human out of the loop, which software engineering is right now. If you
Yeah.
look at Boris Cherny posted this 4 stages of adoption of AI. And level 4 is he says, I'm in level 4. I work with 1,000 agents. So he's human out of the loop. He's working with 1,000 agents. And then our job becomes sort of to build the review gates, to build the system, to build the trust, to build sort of the mechanism where we can provide our judgment so the agents keep doing the work. And
Absolutely.
that's man, for people like us who manage a bunch of projects, you got to start thinking in terms of how do I build a system that can execute this with trust when I'm not there,
when I'm not there.
I'm not sort of always in the loop. But it's a process. You have to sort of go
It's a
through.
process, not
Yeah.
just in building trust, but like I find
Yeah.
myself, for me, it's a process almost of like overcoming a little fear, because
Yeah.
there is so much negative sentiment out there around like AI generated content. And like
Yeah.
people, like we're getting really well trained to spot AI generated content. And like my
Yeah.
whole thing, like I feel like technology is made to create like more human moments, and that's how I want to use
Yeah.
AI, and that's why we kind of have this show, right? Like, let's just get people talking about it. And so, like, I think there's a fear that I will come across as disgenuine by
Yeah.
using AI to
Yeah.
do it, right? You and I have talked about this offline as well about posting content on socials. So part of that is like getting out of my own way sometimes, because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, like with anything, right? 80% is always better than 0%, and just continuing to
absolutely.
kind of to get better. So if I can invest in my voice, if I can invest
Yeah,
in, my agent having a job running every week, to continue to
yeah,
update my voice, to have it learn from where I'm making changes, to be trained on it that way, right? Where yes, it will be sent as AI, but
yeah.
you would think it was me, and I would think it was me.
And that's the whole point. That's what being human in the loop means. I think a lot of people, this fear that you mentioned, that's one thing. We're getting very trained on spotting AI written content. A great example is Substack released
Yeah,
an
man.
AI content detector. It scans whatever you write and tells you if it was written with AI. And of course, it's written.
Of course.
Everyone's writing with AI.
Yeah.
And the point is, how do you make AI write like you? How do you make AI use the sort of knowledge that you have in your brain to communicate your opinion in your way? And you sort of are the final judgment layer before it goes out. That's the whole point of it.
And I think it comes from like writing more and
Yeah,
talking more, right? Like everything that I do, like, you go back to having an always on agent. Every night I have an agent that's pulling all my emails, all my team's messages, to capture all of that, to help identify. But even things that like I do out of here, like I've gone on stage several times and told stories. Every one of those stories
yeah,
I have a transcript, right? I have a spoken version
the
as well,
same.
and like I want to use that, right? Like so there's a little irony where if if you want AI to write for you, the way
Yeah.
that you can improve the quality of that is to write more yourself.
Yes, yes. Here's a trick. I want people to try this. If you're using Claude in chat mode or Claude desktop cowork, connect it to your email and ask it to read past 3 to 4 weeks of your sent items and identify patterns in how you write. It will surface certain things that you might not have thought about, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
turn that into an email writing skill. Then it
Yeah.
starts writing email. That's one way. If you write newsletters, feed it into your AI. Give it to your AI to learn how you write. Transcripts are great. I record everything just like Chris does.
Yep.
Now, if
Pass all
everything is
those in.
transcribed, you
Yeah.
pass those in. It learns patterns of how you speak, and then
I've used our transcriptions from these episodes as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Just separated my
yeah.
voice out. Yeah, man.
So try these things, and that's how you train your kind of agent and build consistent instructions and rules of how it can communicate like you. And the
Yep.
goal is to, a lot of stuff in our jobs and when you're managing different projects, a lot of the tedious work is this kind of stuff. And if you can organize and build a system that manages the 80% for you, you come in, you judge the 20% and hit send. Why not?
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Good stuff,
Awesome,
man.
dude.
Good stuff,
Awesome.
dude. So, Sash,
Well, you know what?
what do you want to talk about next week, man?
Well, I've been digging into harnesses. We've talked about this, right? We've talked about sort of models and building our own open source kind of SLM or LLM. But then I kept thinking about what harness we use. So I dug into harnesses. So we're going to talk about how harness is actually sometimes, not sometimes, it's more important than the model itself. And the harness is the capability of the agent. So we're going to break some harnesses down. We're going to talk about going from chat to something agentic like Cowork and Claude Code to something autonomous and always on like OpenClaw and Hermes, and how capability amplifies as well as the fragility. So it's all about harnesses next week.
And if you've been following us for a few weeks, a couple weeks ago when Sash talked about um, the orchestrator method and the breakdown of the different types of AI, this should map exactly to that, right? Chat
Yeah,
AI, agentic AI, software development AI, same thing. So
yeah,
no, I'm excited. It's always I feel like the harness is always something I take for granted in whatever system I do, right? And there's a lot of press right now about people switching from frontier models to lower cost ones, like with Kimi, the new
yeah,
version that came out. But what's so often forgotten in that is the harness. And if you've only ever
yeah.
used Claude Chat, Claude Cowork, M365 Cowork, any of those, you've probably never thought about the harness underneath that. And man,
Yeah.
that's where the magic is. So no, excited to talk about next week.
Yeah.
Really powerful
So
stuff,
we're
man.
gonna break it. We're gonna break that down, brother. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. Take care. See you next week.
All right.